Thank you very much, everybody, for joining me once again. Saj Sadek here, bringing you the latest news on the crazy, unpredictable, and wonderful at times world of Pakistan cricket. I think let's talk about stuff on the field first. The fantastic 2-1 series win in Australia, a much needed boost for Pakistan's cricketing heroes. I think it was unexpected, really, for Pakistan to go there and win that series, given their record in Australia in all formats, really. And especially after the first match where Pakistan lost, I think many of us thought it was going to be another whitewash, a 3-0 to Australia. But credit where it's due, those boys proved many of us wrong. And it was some wonderful performances, really. And those last two matches, they absolutely thrashed Australia and 8 wickets and 9 wickets. I think even some of the former Australian players were gobsmacked at just how easily Pakistan beat them. And the number of balls, the second and the third highest number of balls remaining in terms of heavy losses for Australia. I think only Sri Lanka have managed to beat Australia with more balls remaining than Pakistan did in the second and third ODIs. Brilliant performances. I mean, too many players to name, but I think Mohammad Rizwan deserves a lot of credit for his captaincy, his leadership, and the way he manoeuvred his bowlers and that energy in the field seemed to be back, which has been lacking for Pakistan in various formats. Really, I think Rizwan, give him, as I say, credit where it's due. He's somebody who gives a lot of energy and offers a lot of input as a captain. And he's there behind the stumps. He's involved in the game. His energy is there to be seen. You know, he's a very positive character. You never see him down with his shoulders slumped or head in his hands. And that energy that he provides to his teammates certainly carried his teammates through. And the likes of Haris Rauf, Shaheen Shah Afridi, Naseem Shah. We saw Abdullah Shafiq score some good runs. We saw Saim Ayub bat well as well. So, credit where it's due for this Pakistan team. They've proved a lot of people wrong, and it's wonderful to see, especially with the Champions Trophy coming up next year. And now to the expected news. I think anybody who thinks that India were going to come to Pakistan, um, you're living in cloud cuckoo land. This was always going to be the case. I know the ICC were living in hope that the Indian government would inform the BCCI that their team will be allowed to tour Pakistan, to play in Pakistan, and for the Champions Trophy to be held in Pakistan in its entirety. Now, the strange thing is they've left it to the last minute. I think the ICC were ready to announce the fixtures, and the BCCI have then informed the ICC that this will not happen. They will not travel to Pakistan, and unfortunately, it's made a complete mess of the tournament, a complete mess of the scheduling, and I can imagine that the ICC are just as frustrated as the PCB are. Now, the interesting thing from my perspective is that, and probably the perspective of many people out there, is that the Indian government is sending some sporting teams to Pakistan. We've seen various sports that they play where they've allowed their team to go to Pakistan. And that's the bit that makes no sense. I could understand it if they had completely barred any of their teams to visit Pakistan, to play any tournaments, to play any games in Pakistan. But how is it that you can pick and choose which teams you're sending to Pakistan and which you're not sending to Pakistan? How does that work? It makes no sense at all, does it? As I say, if they were sending no teams at all to Pakistan, fair enough. You could understand the decision that this is a continuation of our policy. It's a government level decision that means that no teams will be touring Pakistan, no teams will be going to Pakistan, but then some are, and the cricket team isn't allowed to go there for the Champions Trophy. I think this is it's cat and mouse. It's underhand tactics to leave it last minute like this, and it leaves the PCB in a very difficult situation now regarding the Champions Trophy and what happens next. So the PCB have various options, and none of them are great, really. One is to say to the ICC, proceed with the tournament without India. Somebody steps in place of India. That is a possibility, but that would mean the ICC being in a very difficult position, possibly sponsors and major companies out there, Indian brands who are in tandem with the ICC for some of their tournaments would then be pulling out. It would also mean that some of the broadcasters wouldn't be happy that India is not playing in the tournament and you've got a replacement team instead. Logistically, that would make it a lot easier for Pakistan because the tournament would then be carried on and played in Pakistan, um, but without India. And PCB would then be able to say, well, the whole tournament will be held in Pakistan, and we carry on without them. The other option, of course, is this hybrid model that the Indian government and the BCCI are bargaining for, really, where India plays all of its matches outside of Pakistan. PCB chairman has already said that this is not going to happen. It'll be interesting to see whether there's some political maneuvering and bargaining behind the scenes, and the Pakistan Cricket Board get some sort of compensation from the ICC, and the ego gets massaged a little bit, and the PCB then agree for this to happen. That remains to be seen. But the PCB stance at the moment is that they are not happy with this hybrid model of India playing all of its matches in the UAE. And if they reach the final, then they would also play the final in UAE. Not great for Pakistan Cricket Board, not great for Pakistan. It means that some of the matches will be played in Pakistan and some outside of Pakistan. The third option, of course, is the ICC moves the entire tournament. We've heard UAE has been mentioned, South Africa has been mentioned, and again, that would be a slap in the face for Pakistan cricket and the PCB. That here they are, finally hosting an ICC tournament, a major tournament like the Champions Trophy, and it's moved out of the country at the last minute. The security issues that the BCCI are mentioning to the ICC, the Indian government are mentioning to the ICC, is anywhere safe? Let's be honest about it. Any tournament anywhere in the world, is it 100% safe? Nobody can vouch for that. Nobody can guarantee the safety of anybody these days. It's a sad state of affairs, but that's the harsh reality. The thing that is in favour of the Pakistan Cricket Board and Pakistan cricket as a whole is that several teams, England have just recently been to Pakistan. We've seen Australia, we've seen the likes of New Zealand going there, we've seen South Africa, and other teams have all toured Pakistan. There's been no issues at all. So to state that it's a security issue is a little bit of cheek from the government of India. And I think it's, as I say, cat and mouse, cloak and dagger, underhand tactics, which is meant to hurt Pakistan cricket and for Pakistan not to be hosting a tournament such as the Champions Trophy, which is a very high-profile tournament. Obviously, the PCB have written to the ICC asking for clarification regarding the reasons when the BCCI wrote to the ICC. So it'll be interesting to see what happens next in terms of the response from the ICC and where this tournament happens, if it happens at all. Because I mean, at the end of the day, it's going to be huge losses if this Champions Trophy tournament doesn't happen at all. I mean, that's the last resort. But I think it's really disappointing that India isn't sending its team to Pakistan, because the Pakistani fans would have adored the Indian players. It would have been a great occasion. I think we all miss the India versus Pakistan matches. We hardly see them these days. I mean, when I was growing up, India versus Pakistan was a regular feature in the world of cricket. And it was something that I'm sure not only Indian and Pakistani fans look forward to, but cricket fans from all over the world look forward to. And it's a shame. It's disappointing that these matches are no longer happening because, as I say, they were great occasions. I just hope the PCB stand firm. I hope they don't give in to the pressure that's going to be put on them, because I think that's the key word now. The ICC will put pressure on the PCB to compromise, because the ICC don't want India to drop out of the tournament. They want the Champions Trophy to be held to include India because of the revenue. And as I said at the start of this chat, that the sponsors, etc. The broadcasters will want India to be part of this tournament. But as I say, the PCB needs to stand firm because I think it's all right, the ICC putting India and Pakistan in every ICC tournament, group matches, the group stage, so that they can make massive money from those India versus Pakistan clashes. Well, it's about time, I think, the ICC stood up for the Pakistan Cricket Board and Pakistan cricket and ensured that the tournament in its entirety was held in Pakistan with or without India. Watch this space. Let's see what happens. It's going to be interesting days and discussions in the next few days. Thanks very much for watching. Take care.